The head of the household was not absent, but certainly absent-minded.
Anything could happen around him, and he wouldn't notice it if he was reading or thinking about something.
And he would work even when the family went to Laguna Beach, California, where Susie had persuaded Warren to buy a vacation home in 1971. Business had always been his absorbing interest, and in the early 70s, when an oil crisis knocked the wind out of the bull market, Warren Buffett was prepared and ready to pounce.
In the early 70s, they began looking at the Washington Post. Partly there was a sentimental draw that had delivered it as a boy, but partly it had just gone public.
My first contact was a letter from Warren because he had bought 5% of the company and never heard of him.
Catherine Gran, the head of the family-owned paper, had been thrust unprepared into the leadership role by her husband's death in 1963.
I think she was insecure as could be. The learning process was quite lengthy, especially on the business side.
Then Warren Buffett entered the picture.
I remember that everybody started talking about him and who the hell is Warren Buffett and what are his intentions? Are they honorable? Are they dishonorable? What did he mean to do by this? We literally knew nothing about him.
Warren Buffett, on the other hand, had learned everything there was to learn about the Post.
Warren never does anything without doing his homework, and he really studied up on. He even brought my mother's autobiography from the Omaha library. He said nobody had ever taken it out. I mean, he just sops up information.
Nobody knew what he was up to, and that was making the Post management nervous.
The only people I knew in business told me that it was extremely dangerous. They alarmed me so that, and I was very new. They said, don't go near him.
But she did.
He swept her off her feet. I mean, she was charmed by him and totally put at ease that he didn't have any evil designs on it at all, that he was just an investor.
Before long, he's not only put Kay Graham at ease, but he's basically the only one she turns to when she needs business advice.
He really educated me totally. He would bring with him 10 annual reports or more, and he would say, now, I want to show you these annual reports, and this is a good business. I became very dependent on him. I used to call him up 3 and 4 times a day.
Outside of the Graham family, multimillionaire Warren Buffett was the largest stockholder in the Post, but of course, he still minded his pennies.
He and Kay get to an airport one time. She's got to make a phone call, which cost 10 cents in those days. All he has is a quarter. He starts to run around looking for change.
Now that is, I think, an indication of a fellow who has understood the value of 10 cents.
There was this Buffett with his, giant fortune, really. He didn't flaunt it at all. I mean, he had these really dreadful second-hand clothes, practically.
Whatever their relationship, Mrs. Graham and Warren Buffett made an odd couple.
They certainly had a friendship that was durable, and they saw a lot of each other.
So Warren and Kay become very close, and it's really an attraction of opposites. She's sophisticated. He's Mr. All Shucks from Omaha. But I think they each give something to the other.
I would try to, what I call, housebreak him, because when he and I became friends, I don't think he'd ever sat down for a meal because he liked fast foods and hamburger places. And
Okay. Have a nice day. Come again.
he met a lobster for the first time in his life. And we all were eating our lobster, and I suddenly looked at him, and he was attacking the back of the lobster, which, of course, was totally resistant. And I said, Warren, if you turned it over, you might have better luck.
Mrs. Graham's circle was a new world to Warren Buffett.
That was his introduction to East Coast elite power circles and on. And I think he got a buzz out of it.